In the last video, we looked at how we could record and save a macro in an Excel workbook. I have now closed and reopened that workbook, and when you do, you will notice a yellow bar with a warning that macros have been disabled. This is an Excel security feature and a very important one. Macros contain code which has the potential to be harmful to a computer. So if you download a workbook from the internet or you're sent a workbook from an external source, if it contains macros, you probably want to disable them. In this particular case, however, we're going to have to enable content before we can run the macro, and we don't want to have to turn this on every time we want to work with this workbook. So what we're going to do first is look at how we can change our security settings. So I'm going to start by clicking Enable Content, so I'll be able to run the macros. But then I'm going to come to my Developer tab, and in the code group, you'll see an option, Macro Security, and we're going to click on that. This will take us straight to our macro security settings, which you will see are set to disable all macros with notification. That is perfect, and you don't want to change it. But what we do want to do is create a trusted location. In other words, by default, you will not be able to run a macro without clicking on that yellow bar. But you can specify a location where the macros will automatically be enabled, and then you only put trusted workbooks in that location. So we're going to do that. We're going to click Trusted Locations, and then we're going to come down to the button Add New Location and click on that. We're then going to click the Browse to locate that folder, and mine is in Documents, Excel Essentials, and once you've selected your folder, click OK. And then before you click away, if there are subfolders that you also need to be trusted, make sure you tick that so you can trust the entire directory. And then click OK. It has now added that trusted location, and click OK again. Next time I open up this workbook, it will not hassle me about enabling the macros. Great, so we've now enabled the macros and changed our security setting. We're now ready to run our macro. And there are several ways you can do this. We're going to start by coming to our Developer tab and coming to the big Macros button and clicking on that. That will show you all macros that are currently available. It may be in this worksheet you currently have open or in other workbooks you have open. We're going to make sure we've got Create Timesheet selected, and then we're just going to click Run. And you can see it has now added another sheet, and it has popped a timesheet into there as well. So really nice and easy. Let's now try it with our shortcut key. So I'm going to click Control-Shift-T, and there we go. It's created another timesheet. So really, really easy. For us, maybe. Maybe for our average user who's not that familiar with macros and doesn't have a Developer tab, and maybe they don't know the shortcut, a button would be an even easier way. Well, that's what we're going to do next. So this time I'm going to click back onto my sheet 1, and I'm going to add a button. I'm just going to put it over there. Now there are a few ways you can do this as well. In your controls group on your Developer tab, if you come to the Insert, there's a form control, which is a button. This will work very nicely, but you can't edit these buttons. So we're going to go for a more graphical approach. We're going to go to our Insert tab on our ribbon, and we're going to find the shapes. And I'm going to click on the shapes, and you can really choose any shape you like, but I'm going to go for one that looks quite buttony. So I'm going to go for a rounded rectangle, and then I'm going to come into the worksheet and click and drag to draw my button. With the button drawn, I'm just going to immediately type, you don't need to right click, New Timesheet. And then if you want to edit this button at all, you have some shape styles up here where you can add a little bit of styling, so you can make it look a little bit more buttony. And of course you can go and edit your text as well. So I'm just going to center that, and that now looks quite nice. Now at the moment this is still just a shape. It's not actually going to do anything. So here comes the magic. We're going to right click on our shape, and you can do this, sorry I'm going to click away. Right click on our shape, and you can do this with any graphical element. So it could be a picture, anything you like. And we're going to come down to Assign Macro. I'm going to click on that and it will show us all the macros available. We're going to click Create Timesheet and then click OK. Now just click away from your button for a moment, and when you come back to hover over it, you'll see that little hand which tells you that something's going to happen when you click. And when I click on that button, I now get my brand new timesheet being created. So we've looked at 3 methods there. You can use your macros button on the developer tab. You can use a shortcut key if you've created one, or even better, you can create a button. So our recorded macros, very easy to create, very easy to run. But what about when they're not doing exactly what we want? Well, that's what we're going to look at in our next video.